Welcome back. This is Luna Celestine. Today is April 9th, 2025, and if you're a Leo, or if Leo energy is strong in your birth chart, this message may be meant for you. I know there are days when it feels like you've given everything, yet progress seems just out of reach. Maybe you're in a pause right now, not because you're weak, but because the universe is offering you a moment to breathe, to reflect, and to prepare for something bigger. Today, I'll walk with you through the energy that surrounds you, the shifts unfolding in your life, and the quiet signals pointing toward a meaningful turning point. We'll explore themes of love, career, health, and abundance, all through the lens of astrology. And most importantly, we'll listen for that quiet reminder that miracles don't always arrive with a loud entrance. If you're ready, stay with me. Because what you most need to hear might be right here, waiting. Today, your power doesn't come from doing more. It comes from feeling more. You might be wondering why things seem to have slowed down, why the spark doesn't feel as bright as it once did. But pay attention. This isn't a sign of failure. It's a message, a quiet invitation to come back to yourself, to notice what's truly draining you, and what's quietly nourishing you from within. You've been carrying a lot, maybe in your work, maybe in your relationships, holding things together with sheer willpower. But the truth is, you don't have to keep proving yourself. There are seasons in life when true strength looks like pausing, like telling the truth about where you are and allowing yourself to soften. Feeling tired doesn't mean you're losing your drive. It means you've come far enough that your soul is asking you to recalibrate before moving forward again. The energy today encourages you to reconnect with what your heart truly wants. Not what you've been told to want, not what makes sense on paper, but that quiet desire you may have set aside for the sake of responsibilities or expectations. If you stop, take a breath and ask yourself honestly, who am I doing all this for? You might hear a voice within, reminding you of what really matters. I'm sharing this not to add pressure for you to figure it all out, but to remind you, if you're in a quiet space right now, if clarity hasn't fully arrived, it doesn't mean you're lost. It means you're being asked to realign, to refill your energy, and to choose what's next with more intention. Everything else in today's message about love, money, your path forward, begins with this one gentle act, tuning in and listening to what's real for you right now. There's a shift happening in your professional life, and it might not be something you can fully control. What once felt stable or predictable may now be evolving, whether that's your role, your direction, or even the way you define success. This isn't a random disruption, it's a purposeful nudge from the universe, encouraging you to move beyond the familiar and step into a space where your true potential can take form. Astrologically, the focus is turning toward your sense of initiative, asking whether you're ready to lead not just others, but yourself. This isn't about ego or status, it's about presence. It's about knowing that your vision, your passion, and your ability to create something meaningful deserve to be at the forefront. This is the moment to take action, to make decisions that reflect who you are now, not who you were or who you felt obligated to be. You might feel uncertain at first, like the ground is shifting beneath your feet. But instead of grasping for control in the old ways, ask yourself, what within me is asking to evolve? Maybe you've been holding things together out of habit, believing that stability equals safety. But true alignment asks for more than comfort. It asks for honesty. When you begin to see where your energy is no longer being returned, where your effort isn't translating into meaning, that's your signal to rebuild, not from fear, but from clarity. Right now, your work isn't just work. It's a mirror. It reflects your energy, your passion, your drive to be seen and to contribute something real. The universe is asking you to be bolder, more decisive, and more honest about what you're truly building and whether it still speaks to your heart. You don't need all the answers now, but But as we move deeper into this reading, the themes of financial decisions, aligned partnerships, and creative flow will begin to reorder themselves around the direction you choose to claim as your own. The financial energy surrounding you right now is quietly supportive, but it's not passive. It's inviting you to step into the role of a conscious creator, someone who doesn't just wait for luck but understands how to position themselves for it. There's something about calculated risk that's being highlighted here, not reckless action, but intentional moves that are backed by both intuition and strategy. You may already feel the urge to revisit an idea or project that didn't quite take off the first time. This time, the energy is different, and so are you. You're being asked to take a second look at how you're engaging with your resources. It's not only about how much money you're making, but about how that money is flowing, where it's going, what it's supporting, and whether those choices reflect the life you actually want. Small shifts in how you manage your finances can open doors you didn't expect. That might mean simplifying where things have become overly complicated, or redirecting funds into something that lights you up instead of just keeping you afloat. Don't be surprised if unexpected opportunities begin to show up, especially in areas that once felt stagnant. This isn't coincidence, it's a reflection of your internal shift. As you begin to take yourself more seriously, the universe starts to respond in kind. But remember, your relationship with abundance doesn't begin with external results. It starts with the mindset you bring to it. Are you making decisions from fear or from faith in your ability to grow and adapt? That difference matters. The numbers that stand out for you today, 11, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, aren't just lucky for the sake of luck. Think of them as quiet affirmations, reminders that your energy is aligning with something larger. As we move into the next part of your message, pay attention to how your financial story connects with your emotional world. Money is never just about money. It's often linked to self-worth, safety, and your sense of possibility. The clearer you become about what you truly value, the more effortlessly prosperity begins to take shape around you. There's a shift happening in your heart space, one that's subtle but powerful. You might find yourself thinking more deeply about connection, about what it really means to be seen and felt by another person. This isn't just about romance for the sake of romance. It's about resonance, the kind of bond that feels fated not because it's dramatic, but because it reflects something true within you. If love has felt distant lately, it's not because it's absent. It's because your energy has been preparing for something that requires a deeper level of readiness. Astrologically, this moment is less about chasing and more about becoming magnetic. The more you ground into your own emotional truth, the more you naturally begin to attract people and connections that reflect where you're really headed. If you've been holding on to old patterns, whether it's fear of vulnerability, stories of rejection, or a tendency to give too much without receiving, this is the time to start releasing. The past doesn't have to dictate the future, but in order to create a new kind of love, you need to believe you're worthy of it. This could be a period where someone meaningful either enters your life or reemerges in a way that feels different than before. Don't be surprised if emotions come up that you didn't expect. Memories, longing, even resistance. Let all of it rise without judgment. These moments aren't setbacks. They're signs that your emotional landscape is shifting to make space for something real. You don't need to force anything. What's meant for you won't require that. But you do need to remain open, not just to the presence of love, but to the discomfort that often comes with allowing it in. Love now is a reflection of the work you've been doing internally. The more honest you are with yourself, the more clarity you'll find in your connections. And as we move into the themes of health, vitality, and emotional renewal, you'll see how deeply intertwined they are with your capacity to give and receive love in a balanced way. This is about more than partnership. It's about returning to the center of your own heart and realizing that what you've been searching for may have been waiting within you all along. Your body has been speaking to you, not always loudly, but consistently. Maybe it's through fatigue, that doesn't go away with sleep, or a tension you can't quite explain. These aren't inconveniences to ignore. They're invitations. Right now, your health, both physical and emotional, is asking for your attention in a more intentional way. Not because something is wrong, but because something is ready to shift. This is a season for recalibration, for looking at the habits you've accepted as normal and asking whether they still support the life you want to live. It doesn't have to mean radical changes. Sometimes the most powerful transformations begin with the smallest adjustments, choosing nourishment over convenience, stillness over stimulation, breath over reaction. Your nervous system is asking to be included in the conversation, to be softened, supported, and heard. Stress, if left unchecked, has a way of making even the most grounded person feel disconnected. That's why mindfulness isn't just a trendy practice, it's a necessary tool. Even 5 quiet minutes with yourself can create enough space for clarity to return. Movement, too, plays a vital role, not to meet an expectation, but to reconnect you with your own rhythm. This isn't about perfection, it's about presence. As you continue through this journey, you'll begin to see how much your health impacts everything else. Your clarity in decision-making, your emotional availability, even your ability to attract and sustain the kind of connections you want. When your body feels safe, when your mind feels supported, your entire energy begins to shift. And with that shift, new possibilities open, not just for healing, but for a deeper, more sustainable kind of vitality. This is your reminder that you don't have to wait for a crisis to start caring for yourself. The sooner you listen, the more ease you'll find on the path ahead. There's a gentle energy moving through your connections with family and close friends right now. The kind of energy that doesn't force change but opens the door for it. You might find yourself thinking about someone you haven't spoken to in a while, or feeling a subtle pull to revisit a conversation that never quite reached resolution. These nudges aren't random. They're invitations to heal, to soften, and to show up with more presence in the relationships that matter. Sometimes the space that forms between us and the people we love isn't caused by something dramatic, but by all the little silences, the unspoken thoughts, the assumptions, the moments we held back instead of reaching out. This is your opportunity to shift that, not by fixing everything overnight, but by choosing honesty over pride, curiosity over defensiveness. A small message, a heartfelt check-in, or even just being available in a different way could be the beginning of a new chapter in a relationship that's been waiting for renewal. You don't have to carry the emotional weight of everyone around you, but you can be a bridge, a source of grounded energy that helps others feel safe being real. And in return, you may find that your own need for support and understanding is finally being met in ways it hasn't been before. These connections, when nurtured with sincerity, become part of your foundation. They remind you that you're not meant to walk this path alone. As we move forward into themes of compatibility and the kinds of energies that flow most naturally with yours, remember that all meaningful relationships, whether romantic, familial, or platonic, begin with presence. When you bring your full self to the moment without the armor, you give others permission to do the same, and in that space, real connection starts to grow again. Some connections just feel easier, like something clicks, even without trying. Right now, your energy is most aligned with those who either mirror your fire or offer the kind of balance that helps you ground it. There's a natural spark when you're around people who share your passion for life, especially fellow fire signs like Aries and Sagittarius. These are the ones who speak your language of boldness, who move with instinct and aren't afraid to challenge you, not to compete, but to help you rise. Being with them feels like being reminded of your own light. Then there are those who bring you back to center, the ones who soften your edges in the best way. Cancer and Pisces, with their intuitive and emotional depth, can offer you something you don't always allow yourself to receive: gentleness. These connections are less about speed and more about depth. They teach you that strength isn't always loud, and that safety can exist in stillness. When you open up to that kind of energy, you may find yourself healing in ways you didn't realize you needed. And then there are those who stimulate your mind. who meet you in conversation and challenge your perspective in ways that feel refreshing rather than confrontational. Gemini and Libra can bring new ideas, fresh language for old emotions, and a sense of playfulness that lightens even the heaviest moments. These connections might not always move in a straight line, but they keep things interesting, and more importantly, they help you grow. As we come to the end of today's message, remember this: the people who align with your energy aren't here to complete you. They're here to reflect what you're learning to hold within yourself. Pay attention to who energizes you, who brings you peace, who challenges you to evolve. The more attuned you become to the way your energy interacts with others, the more naturally you'll begin to choose relationships that support, inspire, and elevate your path forward. There's something about the color gold that reflects exactly where you are right now. Not because everything feels polished or certain, but because underneath the surface, something radiant is forming. Gold isn't just a symbol of wealth or success. It's warmth, clarity, and presence. It holds the energy of the sun, your ruling force, and reminds you that even in uncertain times, your light hasn't dimmed. If anything, it's becoming more focused, more intentional, more yours. Wearing gold today, or simply surrounding yourself with that color, is less about superstition and more about resonance. It's a visual reminder of the energy you're being called to embody: grounded confidence, conscious leadership, and the ability to shine without seeking validation. Let it guide you gently back to yourself, especially in moments when things feel unclear or unstable. Let it remind you that you don't have to force brightness, you already carry it. And if today feels unpredictable, if plans shift, emotions surface, or nothing goes quite as expected, take a breath. This isn't chaos for the sake of disruption, it's space being cleared. You might not see the full picture yet, but there's movement happening that goes beyond what you can control. What's falling away isn't punishment, it's preparation. The parts of your life that no longer align are making room for something deeper, something more true. So instead of resisting the unexpected, try meeting it with curiosity. Ask yourself what it might be showing you, what it's freeing you from, what it's asking you to trust. This is the part of the journey that's not always easy to explain to others, but it doesn't need to be. You're not here to make everything look perfect. You're here to live fully, and sometimes that means standing still in the middle of the unknown, and knowing that even here, something golden is already growing. As we close today's message, I want to remind you that nothing is too far out of reach when you're aligned with your truth. You don't need to rush or have it all figured out. You just need to keep listening to yourself, honoring what's real, and trusting that even the smallest shifts are part of something much bigger. If today's reflection stirred something in you, hold that close. Let it guide your next step, however small or quiet it may be. And remember, this isn't about perfection. It's about presence. You're not here to chase life. You're here to meet it with your full self. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'll be right here again soon, holding space for you as you continue unfolding into all that you are becoming. Until then, take care of your energy, speak gently with your heart, and don't forget, the light you're looking for is already within you.